again.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Welcome to tonight's Piqua City Commission meeting. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn from executive session.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Mayor Pearson,
Aye.
Commissioner Vetter,
Aye.
Commissioner Holman.
Aye.
Right, thank you. At this time, we will have a presentation by Chris Mackey of Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Let's see if
No.
oh,
I don't know what he did.
I can just do it without the presentation.
1 second.
No worry.
They're getting somebody to help you. There we go.
There you go. Awesome. Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Mackey. I work for Big Brothers Big Sisters Miami Valley. We're a nonprofit mentoring organization, serves around 400 youth in Miami, Montgomery, Greene, and Preble counties. And I'll keep this brief, but whenever I talk about Big Brothers Big Sisters, I talk about Kevin and Stephen. A couple years back, I became a mentor for two brothers. These brothers have been through a lot in their young lives. They were evicted from their home, a lot going on in the neighborhood, a lot going on at home, and they responded to all of this in very different ways. Kevin tends to externalize things, so has some anger issues, behavioral issues at school. Stephen tends to internalize things, so kind of quiet, heads down a lot, not too talkative. But especially working with Stephen over the years, one of the things that teachers and counselors have said to me is the difference in Stephen's body language, his talkativeness, his ability to talk about things that interest him when I meet with him. He talks about anime. He loves anime. I don't know a thing about anime. But he talks about that. He talks about baseball, which he loves doing. And basically, I give Stephen an opportunity once a week to talk about stuff going on in his life, good stuff, not so good stuff. And he said to me about a year ago that other than his family, I was the one person he knew that he could talk to. Not only was that a rewarding moment for me, but it's something that I often think about when Stephen grows up, Kevin grows up. I hope that all have made a difference in their lives. But I can tell you all that this opportunity to be a mentor for two young people has made a big difference in my life. And it's this opportunity that I want to offer to everyone here tonight. Big Brothers Big Sisters creates and supports one-to-one mentoring relationships that ignite the power and the promise of youth. And at Big Brothers Big Sisters, our vision, and I love our vision, is that all youth achieve their full potential. We want kids to be successful in life. We go about doing that through two primary programs. The one I'm going to talk about tonight is our community-based program. In that community-based program, mentors and mentees, we call them Bigs and Littles, meet 4 to 6 hours a month for at least a year in a community setting. So going to the library, playing board games, going to the park, going to get ice cream, while focusing on goals. And those goals can be as simple as introducing the little to a new hobby and as profound as helping that little graduate high school, focus on career goals, focus on life goals. Those littles in our program, they're in our 4-county service area. They're ages 7 to 14 when we match them. And they have varying backgrounds and experiences. Some of the kids in our program come from affluent households. And the parents or guardians of those littles feel that having an additional positive one-to-one mentor would be beneficial for that child. But some have been through a lot in their young lives. Looking at some data from kids on our wait list, 62% of them come from households that make less than $30,000 a year. 49% of them have dealt with some type of a traumatic experience in their life. 19% are dealing with some type of mental health issue. And that could be neglect or bullying to other mental health issues. One thing that we're focusing on right now, 11% of these kids come from military families. And 75% of them are little brothers, are male mentees. We always have a need for male mentors in this program. We have a need for everybody, but especially male mentors. And right now we have 10 kids in Miami County who are waiting for a positive adult role model in their life. As far as who bigs are safe, they're consistent. We ask for that year commitment because it takes time to build that positive mentoring relationship. As far as what bigs are not saviors. They're not trying to save kids from their home environments or themselves. Bigs aren't replacement parents or guardians. And then bigs they don't need to have an advanced degree in social work to be a licensed therapist. They're members of the community who want to make a difference in the life of a young person. I'm going to skip through this to save some time. As far as the benefits of mentoring, this comes from national data. 46% of littles said that with a mentor, they avoided drugs. 90% said they got better grades. And 86% said that they had reduced depressive symptoms. This last stat I always point out because in light of the pandemic and the rise in mental health issues that a lot of kids were and still are dealing with, having that additional role model in their corner, that additional person they can rely on, can be really beneficial. And then finally, I can attest to the fact that being a mentor is an extremely rewarding way of giving back to your community and giving back to a young person in that community. So I have two numbers for you. And this number changed very recently. It's good news. We now have 44 kids on our wait list who are waiting for a mentor right now, including those 10 kids in Miami County. That other number is 2. It takes 2 outings a week, 4 to 6 hours a month, to make a difference in the life of a young person. And so I ask everyone in this room to consider being a mentor for a young person. And I also ask you to share this information with your friends, family, coworkers, anyone you know who is willing to make a difference in the life of a young person. Because kids in our community have so much potential, the potential to be successful in life. And at Big Brothers Big Sisters, we defend that potential. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
I know that at one point you had a program at Spring Creek that the high school students were involved in, and I don't know through COVID, is that still happening, or is that, where is that?
We still do have a high school program in Piqua. We have also, and I didn't go into it this evening, but we have a number of school-based mentoring programs that we do that involve high school students mentoring elementary or middle school, college students mentoring elementary or middle school. The big need at the moment is that community-based program, but if people are interested in learning more about the other mentoring programs that we had, they can definitely reach out to us, and I forgot to mention, they can go to our website, bbbsmiamivalley.org. They can give us a call, 937-220-6855. I also brought some flyers. I'll leave those in the back.
Yeah, and I know that I actually was a big for a while, and I started in the school setting and then went into the community setting. So the school setting, for those people who might want to give a half an hour or an hour during a week during lunchtime, is available as well, correct?
It is, and long story short, we encourage people to ask about the school-based program. We do have an enrollment period that we're kind of beyond for this school
This year, yeah, it makes sense.
But if people are interested in any way in getting involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters, give us a call. Reach out to us. We're happy to talk.
Thank you.
Talk for a second about the screening process that you use for the Big Brothers and Big Sisters.
Absolutely. So we have a process including an application, interviews, we do training, and we also, for the bigs, we do multi-level background checks, we do reference checks just to make sure that the mentoring match is going to be safe for everyone involved, especially the little. And then once that process is done, we work to match bigs and littles based on similar interests, similar personalities, similar geography. So it's a process that takes us some time, but we want to make sure that at the start, that mentoring match is going to be as beneficial as possible for everyone.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. At this time, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve our consent agenda.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution number R-122-23. A resolution appointing a member to the Park Board.
That was part of the consent agenda.
Yeah. I would like to announce that Julie Smith is hereby appointed as a member of the Park Board to fill an unexpired term ending on March 1st, 2025, or until a successor is confirmed and qualified. This resolution shall take effect and be in force from and after the earliest period followed by law. So we appreciate Julie serving as a member of the Park Board. It is now time for public comment, and at this time, it's an opportunity for citizens to address the City Commission on agenda items. And comments are requested to be limited to 3 minutes, and in order to do so, I would need a motion to allow the 3 minutes for speaking. Is there a motion
Motion.
from Commission?
I mean, isn't it?
You would need to have the commission move to suspend the 5-minute rule to a 3-minute rule in order to adopt it for the meeting.
Do any of you approve? No.
Let him talk.
Yep.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to stay with the 5-minute rule. Okay,
There should be no cheering, jeering. The commission rules do not allow for that. We would ask that you not do that. Otherwise, public comment could be cut off.
all right. Does anyone would like to come up to the podium and speak?
Nice outfit.
I try not to disappoint. So, good evening. My name is Paul Simmons. I still reside at 215 McKinley Avenue up in the 2nd Ward. As a matter of fact, it might be safe by now to call me Commissioner-elect, but I'm not going to have a big head about it.
Only took one vote.
Only took one vote. There we go.
One vote.
So the last time I stood before you, the commission decided not to proceed with an ordinance that, in my opinion, was a really bad idea. Fortunately, before I got the opportunity to come up here and say anything about it, you fine folks were clever enough to pass the matter on to the next year's council. That was a good idea, considering my first proposed order of business would have been to revoke that ordinance. I'm a big First Amendment guy. And that means even when people don't agree with me or cuss at me, whatever they want to say. So now under new business, you have a listed resolution number R-12623, which would authorize the creation of a rental advisory board. If this is in any way related to the new rental inspection program, I would ask that you table this matter until the new commission is seated in January. Depending on the outcome of today's elections, it is highly probable that someone's going to make a motion to either revoke that process for the rental inspection program, or at least table it until it can be decided by a vote of the voters in the spring or the fall of next year. I've spoken to over 100 people, and only one couple out of all of those was in favor of the rental inspection program as it sits. Most were opposed to it, some vehemently so, others were indifferent, didn't know about it. Anyway, so since it's the people's rights that we'd be walking all over, I'm sorry, Commissioner Vetter, your statements about there not being any constitutional issues on this are flat out wrong. I say we should take it to the voters in the spring primary or the fall election and let the people decide. So now that you know what my plans are and that you have a pretty good idea that, hey, some of my fellow commissioners might just be with me on this, why don't you make things easier for us? You can't make it impossible, just harder. And table this matter until January unless it has absolutely not a single thing to do with the rental inspection program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Lisa Dotson, 10 Golden Eagle Court. About 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer. I've undergone chemotherapy treatments, clinical trials, a slew of medications that cause a host of all kinds of side effects. My doctors asked me, have you been exposed to some sort of environmental impact? At the time, the answer was no. But over the past several months, a number of these people behind me that I've been watching commission meetings, I'm starting to question, was I? I know that you've been told, don't answer any questions. I know you've been told, don't reply. I know you've been told, lay down, play dead, they'll go away. But my question is, did you cause or contribute to my current health condition? Did you cause or contribute to my current health condition? Your silence screams guilt. Your silence screams guilt. Thank you.
Again, please no clapping or cheering.
Chuck Starrett, 4244 Deming Road. I suggest you table the rental committee ordinance till further notice, until this is settled. There's still some things looking into this. We feel like that it's just going to be a waste of time. This is not done right. There's violations, and and you're pretty well aware of them. It was written without a lot of thought, and it affects more than what you're talking about. The next thing that I'm really upset about is, what are we doing up here talking at the start of the meeting about agenda items when we haven't even heard what they are? I don't have a copy of it. There's never any copies in the back of the room. People don't even know what we're talking about. So we can't talk about anything on the agenda until we heard what you describe it and how you feel about it, so you can get our opinions. We're getting tired of being told to sit down and don't have a right to speak, which is a total violation of the charter, which has constantly been violated. It's a violation of our right to speak, and we're not going to sit down and shut up. That goes for everyone in the room. You've been picking on people. Roland Sawmill is his gravel situation. How long are you going to put up with this? If you want to stop Roland Sawmill from putting gravel down, then you get Chris Smeezing's driveway paved. I don't believe this is going to be fair. If you want to discuss it further, we'll discuss it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is Alicia Lang. I live outside the city. And I appreciate the full 5 minutes. I have a few questions that I would like to address about the environment in our community. When is the city of Piqua and or the companies involved with this burn situation conducting tests of the surface water?
Tests have already been conducted, thank you.
Okay, what date and by whom?
I don't have that information in front of me, but if you'd like to attend the meeting next week, a lot of that information will be available for you.
Well, I will be there, but I would like to make this public record because I'm under the impression that it will not be recorded or presented for the
Even
public.
if the meeting's not recorded, it's public information.
Okay, great. Thank you, because I I know you've called me an idiot, and that's, Okay. When is the city of Piqua and/or the companies involved with this testing the soil?
Currently, the company has not vacated the property, and there'll be testing of the soil after the vacation.
Thank you. Is the city of Piqua and/or the companies involved with this going to test the fish, mussels, or other living organisms in Swift Run?
That would be a question next week for the experts.
Okay. Is the city of Piqua testing the bike path?
Again, that would be a question for the experts.
Okay, I assumed you as the leader of our town would be the expert.
I'm an administrator, I'm not an environmentalist.
Okay. Is the city of Piqua testing the dog park?
Again, there have been tests, and the test results will be shared once they're received.
Okay. Have there been any air dispersion modeling? Is there any air dispersion modeling on how far the plumes of pollution traveled into the community?
Again, you'd have to speak with OEPA or RAPCA.
Okay. So while I'm still, this is directed towards you. You claimed publicly that you didn't know about this situation until recently. Who then, could you tell me, who then approved the $600 per burn event?
That would be the administration.
You? Specifically who?
In terms of the contract?
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose so.
I don't have the documents in front of me, so I'm not going to debate it.
I think I do, right here. Would you like to see it? Okay. Because for them to receive $600, I don't know. But for them to be able to receive $600 per burn event, someone would have to approve that, right? And to do that, that would make you in the know, correct?
It depends what date you're speaking about. This has been going on since 2018.
Oh, I'm glad you clarified that. So the 2018 burn events, who approved that?
It wouldn't have been me. I wasn't here.
Okay. I have a document that shows there's 14 burn events this year. The city claims there's 14. 65 were documented, self-reported by ESRG to the Ohio EPA. So I'm going to repeat that. 65 burns were reported by ESRG to the Ohio EPA, but you only told me there were 14. Jeff Lang mentioned last commission meeting. It wasn't in December. I must have been nervous.
Your time's about ready
October.
to expire.
Thank you. That there were over 100 pounds of lithium-ion batteries that have been burned this year alone. How do you feel about that? Also, the 911 calls. Is it legal to tell callers that this is fire training when you knew it wasn't? Because aren't you on the Miami County 911 Communication Board?
Alicia, your time is up.
All right.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Melanie Walker, 526 North Wayne. I just wanted to share some good things that have been happening. Last weekend, the Piqua Arts Council had their second annual Bourbon Affair. There are several people in the room that did attend. It was a wonderful event. And also, this Saturday at 7 o'clock downtown is the horse parade. And if you have not been there, it is amazing. My sister-in-law's group that is in Kentucky has come up for several years. They're not coming this year as they're in Boston at a big thing that they've been invited to. It is fabulous for the little kids to see what's going on. That's it. I just wanted to share the happy things happening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie.
Dana Park, 4380 Brunson Lane. One of the most important responsibilities of the city leadership is to provide clean water to its citizens. This means ensuring that the water supply is safe from contaminants. What measures did you take to ensure that the plumes and the debris from the explosions didn't contaminate our water supply? That's directed to you.
Again, I'm not going to answer that.
Figured not. How often did you test the water for lithium and metals in our water supply?
Again, if you'd like to speak to the OEPA about the permit requirements, that would be the appropriate party.
Well, I figured Piqua would ensure for their citizens. Did Piqua test? Did Piqua test during that 5 or 6 years?
Ma'am, again, the water is tested every day, and it meets the OEPA requirements for a public water system.
Okay, what measures did you take to protect the public and our air and our environment during that time?
I'm not going to debate this with you.
I'm not debating, I'm asking.
Well,
What
and I'm not
measures
going
did
to.
you take?
The appropriate permits were pulled back from 2018 with oversight from agencies, state agencies.
Do you own and operate that facility?
Yes.
Yes. So what did you do to ensure that the public was safe during that time?
I stated my answer, and that is that the permits were met.
The permits that said small burning,
Correct.
when there was large burning?
You'd have to speak to the agencies that are involved with that oversight. That is not a
But
city.
you were CC'd that they were large burns. So what responsibility was it of yours to oversee? Who was overseeing and supervising our city-owned property that is doing this?
It would have been city staff.
City staff?
Mhm.
Like what department?
Where's this line of questioning going?
I'm not a lawyer. You're not on trial. I'm
And this
asking
isn't a debate.
question.
Right.
Who was overseeing it?
You're asking about many years of many different people being involved. So if you're looking for one name, there's not one name.
Were you in here, were you here in July of 21?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you signed an agreement, a joint usage agreement with Bowling Green. And it states Piqua owns and operates the training center that supports fire testing for private companies. So you signed it.
Yes, that's on my signature's on there.
Excuse me?
I said my signature is on there,
Your signature is on there.
on the agreement that was part of the grant.
That supports fire testing with private companies.
It was the grant application with Bowling Green State University and the memorandum of understanding. There were two different separate memorandum of understandings. One started from 2018 and the other was initiated in 2021.
Okay, so Energy Storage Research Group was under a MOU with Bowling Green and just recently got a lease, their first lease. But yet we're blaming all the violations on Energy Storage Research Group. Why?
I'm not going to comment to that.
Sure you wouldn't. So who's responsible for getting the correct permits, burning permits?
Your time's about ready to expire.
Well, that's fine. Who's responsible for the burning permits?
Again, you need to contact the OEPA or RAPCA and
You
find
said
out.
small burns, and there were large items out there being burned, 40,000 pound. Marine batteries. That doesn't sound like that's small.
You would have to speak to the agency that had oversight on that. That is not
You had
something.
oversight, you own it and operate it, and you have your name on it.
Diana,
Piqua
your time
Energy.
is up. Have a seat,
Okay.
please.
Thank you.
Debbie Stein, 1810 Carroll Drive. Paul, I would like to ask you, did anyone ever call you or contact you, your employees, a citizen, anyone that saw those large burns and had a concern?
Had anybody contact the administration?
You personally, or administration, either one?
Mr. Lang stood up there.
What I'm asking is, when they were taking place, the burns were going, did any employees drive into the water plant, citizens, anybody talk to you about those?
No.
Call you in the office? Nobody? No concerns? Did you ever see them?
The burns?
Yeah.
No.
Never heard of them?
I mean, never heard of them.
Did you not even hear that the burns were taking place? Big plumes of smoke in the air? That wasn't a concern of yours?
The burns were permitted by an agency that had oversight.
Small burns outside, not 40,000 pound marine batteries.
Again, you would have to take that up with the agency issuing and having oversight on the
You know,
permit.
it just seems to me like you're angry and you don't care.
Please be respectful to staff.
I am being respectful. That's what it seems like. Paul and Frank, you can't determine what respect is. That's not legally for you to determine. I am not being disrespectful. I'm asking questions. People want to know in this community. They're angry, they're upset, they're scared. You guys won't answer. You look at us like you're zombies and we're zombies. This isn't happening. And one thing I ran across that's really curious to me. This did not occur in, and I've said this before, in 2018, there was an agreement, there was a resolution, and there was an MOU. And it referred to battery testing and a fire training facility. Now, if you all looked at that, if you've all researched that, you're not going to see burning lithium-ion batteries. It was never discussed. There weren't burns taking place. You can say that these burns happened in 2018, 19, 20. That is not true. That is not true. But what I did find, I ran across, there was a form filled out in 2017. Before it was even a thought, at least as far as I'm thinking, that was sent to RAPCA, and it said to burn lithium-ion batteries in the city of Piqua. Now, how did somebody, department head, know that they were going to be burning lithium-ion batteries, filled out a report, sent it to RAPCA, when there was no discussion of it? And now we've burnt 40,000-pound marine batteries. We all have photos of it. We all know about the toxins. We all know what this does. Cancer, Parkinson's, leukemia. That's just a start. We have children in this community. We have adults that are healthy that might not be healthy for years to come. For years to come. We are not going to know. And nobody wants to take responsibility. We sit and act stoic and just look at us. Do you feel any pain? We feel pain. I think you do, but I just don't think, I think you've been advised not to show any expression. And that's shameful. And I hope that somehow things will turn around, we get on the right path, and we get things fixed in this town, and we look at things harder. We look at things real hard before anything is done, listen to citizens. Don't push things through. Listen to what we're saying. We're trying to help. We're not trying to be a detriment. We don't like to be disrespected. You know, Frank says I was being disrespectful. I have heard some of the disrespect this week and last week. Oh, I've heard it. I've heard the name calling and the nonsense that's been going on. So that can just stop also.
Your time is about up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jeff Grimes, 1314 Maplewood Drive. Big Brothers Big Sisters got over 7 minutes to talk because you like what they had to say. So I'm going to talk, and you're going to listen, and you're going to answer my questions. So let's start out with, how was the ribbon cutting ceremony at ERSG? You can't take my time away from me if you're going to sit there and not answer my questions. You guys were all out there for the ribbon cutting. Did they have drinks? Pop? How was it? Was it a blast? We weren't invited.
I don't think there was a ribbon cutting.
There was no.
There was no ribbon cutting.
You guys were out there for a ribbon cutting. The news was there for you. You wouldn't talk to them.
That was not a ribbon cutting.
What was it?
It was to look at the site.
What'd you think of it? Fantastic, wasn't it? Awesome place. You guys were all so proud of this. You guys are the, I don't get it. Why don't you investigate stuff further? We've done more investigation than you guys have done ever. Okay, I'm gonna keep talking. So, who has the final say for something like this to be passed in our town? The law director, the city manager, you? Who had the final say? Don't be taking my time away from me. So you guys are running our town and you have no clue on what's going on because you won't answer me. Okay, so the University of Colorado did a study. On average, smoke particles linger in the atmosphere 2 to 3 weeks. These particles are basically a constant in the air all year long. Okay, so what has our town been exposed to when they burn these things? You guys don't know how many burns they did. You don't know what they burned. You have no clue. It's your responsibility. If I didn't get a permit for putting my gravel down, by God, you're after me. But now we got somebody that's burning lithium-ion batteries, and you guys have no clue. So you guys should all resign. Every one of you should resign. Okay, so electrolyte toxicities. They found out possibly 24 chemicals. One of them, hydrochloric acid. 44 parts per million is lethal in an hour. How long did these batteries burn? Days? That's all going in our water, our air. You can't get the correct toxins because nobody ever tested for how many years? We'll never know. So here's a really good question that I've got. So will criminal or any lawsuit or fines be filed against ESRG, Bowling Green, DNV? Since they didn't go by the guidelines, are you going to be going after them?
You talking to me?
I'm just trying to get somebody to answer because you guys are supposed to be running our town.
That's where the Ohio.
My granddaughter could run this town better than you
For the
guys.
Ohio EPA.
What about you guys?
City doesn't have jurisdiction over environmental laws of the federal government.
You don't have
No,
a
I
way to
don't.
go after this company for what they did to our town.
You have
That's
30
unacceptable.
seconds.
So then maybe you should get with the EPA and talk to them about going after it. So if you look up, which you guys probably haven't looked up, DNV. Have you ever heard of DNV? Nobody's heard of DNV. I have. They're the big guys in this, I think. In 2020, DNV made $20.9 billion.
Thank you for your
And-
comment. Please sit down.
I'm not sitting down.
Are done, sir. Please sit down.
Will you,
Sir, you may please sit down, or you will be escorted off of the premises.
and are you going to escort me?
No, but the chief of police will. And he is here.
He went to the bathroom.
So please, nobody wants to arrest anybody. Just please sit down. Your time is up.
I thought you said I was going to be escorted, not arrested.
Sir,
So will you do anything?
sir, please sit down. Your time is up.
You guys are a joke. This town's doomed. Resign. You too.
Kevin Jenkins, 619 North Downing Street. Don't know where to start. How are we based on a time limit when you guys can talk all you want?
Would you like me to answer
Freedom of
that one?
speech.
Would you like me to answer that one for you?
Yeah.
Because I can't. There's this ordinance, it's ordinance
gonna
number
take my time back,
30-30.15, Kevin. And it says, comments and questions by the public shall be addressed to the commission, mayor, or city manager in a civil, respectful manner, and shall be limited to 5 minutes per person. Now, the charter also has a provision in it that says the city commission is allowed to control their meeting and determine the rules of their meeting. And yes, there are court cases that state that commissions are permitted to control the conduct within their meeting, so they are not disorderly. So yes, the commission does have the authority to control the time limits and control the manner of the
Can you understand why we're getting so irritated with everybody? We don't have no answers. No answers. Since I've been coming to these meetings, I have not heard an answer from one damn thing.
Evan, there will be a meeting on next Wednesday. You can go
we
ask
should be
your answer
involved.
question.
We live in this town. We pay taxes.
It's open to the public.
It's a public meeting. It's a
The
public meeting.
Claim my
Meeting
time
is
back.
open to the
No,
public
keep
next
talking.
Wednesday.
Claiming my time back.
Kevin, that meeting next Wednesday is for everybody. It's a public meeting.
It's a public meeting.
OEPA, RAPCA, a lot of people will be there.
Right. This
What's
has
up?
nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
what
does.
you're asking, it does.
Yeah.
All the questions that you
All
want.
the questions
will
you're
know.
asking will be answered then,
Yep.
Okay, good.
because we'll have the professionals there.
Will we get a paper on the answers, and will they be legit? Because we haven't got no answers.
They're there to answer all your
Okay,
questions.
here's another question. When am I catch
Please, no
basins gonna
comments
be-
from the back. Be respectful to the person that's talking currently.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When is my catch basins gonna be put in on Wood Street? I was promised them. I mean, I know it ain't gonna happen overnight. I just wanna know, so I know what kind of damage is gonna happen to my property.
All I can do is speak to the fact that that system and the planning and engineering that has to go into it is out in the future in the CIP, and I don't have it in front of me.
Well, you can understand it's been a problem for years. That whole street floods, even the one-way street. water this high. It's been an ongoing problem. It needs to be addressed. I had a problem with the utility man the other day. I get this call, well, I get my bill in the mail, almost $300 for my utility bill, right? This is one of my rental properties on South Wayne Street. Okay, I own the house, it's 2 full houses connected by wall. Almost a $300 bill. Now, what I did was, I had asked them, why wouldn't I call? Now, normally they call, usage of water. And he said, that's a courtesy call. No, it ain't a courtesy call. How much money did you guys put in that computer system down at the utility office that you got one person reading it? Okay, she said she's overwhelmed. You need more help. Why ain't there help? That's another question. Okay, this lady overlooked my extremely high bill and didn't call me. Ain't no courtesy call no more. It's what you got in the system you put in. It's supposed to be automatically taken care of. They called, you know what they did? They called my tenant. She ain't fixing it. I have to fix it. So that wasn't addressed. Okay, she never said anything to me. Then when I get my bill, 4 days before that, I replaced the toilet flappers in both toilets. Okay, additional 4 days was added on to my bill. I wasn't notified. I should be notified. You need to take that under consideration. That's how it's always been. And now I got a $300 bill that come out of my pocket when it should have only been $138.
Your time is running out.
Okay, I'm not done. I want that addressed. They had nothing to say to me. They said it was a courtesy call. Ain't no courtesy call no more. That needs to be taken care of.
Please sit down. Your time is up. Thank you.
Will I get answers at the next meeting?
Lisa.
This is public service. What is the
No,
date,
Lisa,
time, and location of the meeting?
It's next Wednesday. I'm sorry. Go
Okay,
ahead.
thanks. What is the date, time, and location of that meeting?
It's next Wednesday at the
Wednesday.
Fort Piqua Plaza in the Grant Room, is that right?
It's
From
in the
5.
Ulysses S. Grant Room at 5 p.m.
Okay, what's that date again?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, that is the 15th, at 5 p.m. in the Grant Room on the 4th floor at the Fort Piqua Plaza.
And will it be televised?
No.
The room is not set up to televise it.
Lisa.
Yeah.
The news media will be there.
Greg Neves, 1012 West Green Street. I'd like to know what's going on now out there at the hotel. We going to get another hotel or a restaurant out there? What's happening with that?
Yeah, I can't speak too much to it because the agreements are in the process right now, but the old Red Roof Inn is scheduled to be demolished over the winter using hopefully state demolition funds with the expectation that we'll have a national chain restaurant and hotel out there.
Well, if that's to be demolished, what, are you going to demolish the water plant too?
The old water plant it's a different fund, so the old water plant's going to take quite a considerable amount of money to do demolition on at some point in the future. So I'm sure Mr. Craney will be applying for grant funding so that the plant can be demoed, but it wasn't considered when they built the new plant.
You don't have any problems knocking down homes right now. I don't see any problem knocking that one down either.
The old water plant?
Yeah.
It's a considerable expense that is in the water fund. It doesn't have to do with the general fund or actually the demolition that takes place in town is through the state demolition fund grants.
You know, I guess out of all of you, the one that really upsets me the most is Chris. You've taken an oath to protect and serve. Does that just linger away now that you should have been the one to stand up and scream about all this burning out there instead of just letting it go and go and go? That's all I've got to say.
Thank you.
Alicia,
No, you have to sit down.
Is public
It
service?
is not, ma'am.
In
You have to
response.
sit down.
Okay,
You have to
Fox
sit down.
45 is doing a story November 14th.
Thank you. We.
Promise to be nice this time.
You were nice last time.
Yeah.
You were upset.
Well, anyways.
What's your name?
Dave
Again.
Smith, 701 Fisk.
Thank you.
I knew I forgot something.
You're all right.
Last time I was in here, I kind of went a little off the rails, maybe. I'm just curious, do you guys even understand how mad these people are? And this is just a very small percentage. Everybody in County Kentucky, their water looks different. Their water, we have to bathe in that. Now, this company that did this to us, everybody in here signed off on it. Y'all knew they were not to burn. They were not to burn. And then when they did it, you just let it go. I probably had more conversations with the EPA than you guys. Guarantee you that's what's happened. And it's sad. It's real sad. We come out here, we all go out to work, we bust our asses so you guys can take money from us, and then you turn right around and let someone that's not even part of this community come in here and destroy it. You have responsibility to us. You don't have responsibility to that man. You don't have responsibility to the police chief. You have a responsibility to us. You're not doing it. You're flat out not doing it. How long do you think it's going to take you to clean up that water and that side out there? You have any idea? Any? At least 5 years. At least. Where's all that material going that they've already dug out of there? Those things they've removed. Not one bit of it left that place with a placard for hazardous material. That's a federal crime. And when we come up here and we get mad and upset, I understand you got a little 5-minute thing, but this is something that is probably going to wind up making everybody in here sick. And it's like, you don't care. You don't care. Have any of you tried to contact the EPA and find out anything? And now we're back to you can't say anything because he doesn't let you. And this is what makes you guys, I don't care what he tells you. Does not matter. You all swore oath to the Constitution. You ain't doing it. Every last one of you right now needs to just resign. Just stop. Just stop. There's enough of us out here that seem to care more about what goes on. I guarantee you nobody out here would listen to that man if what happened and we knew about it, and you've known it this long, 5 years at least. You guys and just sit up here and take our money. God forbid somebody out here can't pay their bill. I know what happens with the water. You guys did it to me. I had to raise hell. Straight blame me. Didn't even care to look. You had one man in the water department came out there that was decent. And actually, yeah, it was us. I'm sorry. Nothing from the city. This seems to be one of the most greediest. I left Sydney. That place is a shithole. You guys are running right up there with it. Right up there with it. And you just sit here. I'm confused. I'm really confused. You guys don't really care about this place. You don't. There's no way you can. It's impossible. Because if I knew stuff was going on people where I lived and I was in your position, nah, I'd be running off at the mouth. I'd be telling you everything. You guys don't deserve our money. You don't deserve our taxes. You barely deserve our respect. I respect it. I offered to come out here. I wanted to protest in every single one of y'all's houses, right up out in front in the sidewalk. These people said they were worried about your safety. You didn't care about ours. Why should we care about yours? And everything I would do would be within the law, and you guys would still have a problem with it. So do us all a favor, grow a set.
Sir, your time is about ready to expire.
I'll be done in a second. Grow a set, become adults, not immature little children. That man right there is putting you in a hole by telling you, don't say anything. It will be worse if you lie to us, which is what you're doing, than just tell us the truth. We want to work with you, but you guys don't want to work with us. We probably know more than all of y'all do. That's sad. Y'all need to be adults.
At this time, we'll move on to old business. Resolution number R-111-23 has been postponed to the November 21st commission meeting. Moving on to new business, resolution number R-123-23.
A resolution of appreciation for the public service of Chad L. Kennedy as a city employee.
Okay. Chad, are you here?
Yeah.
A resolution of appreciation for the public service of Chad Kennedy as a city employee. Whereas Chad L. Kennedy has retired as Assistant Fire Chief with the city of Piqua. And whereas his retirement follows 24 years of faithful and dedicated service to the city and its citizens. Now therefore be it resolved by the Commission of the City of Piqua, Miami County, Ohio, all members elected thereto concurring that in recognition and appreciation of the public service of Chad L. Kennedy with the City of Piqua, this commission tenders its unanimous and respectful tribute by this resolution, which shall be a matter of public and permanent record. This resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period followed by law. Cynthia J. Pearson, Mayor. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chad.
Can we have a motion?
Making a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution R-123-23 is approved.
Chad, thank you for your years of service to our city. We gratefully appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution number R-124-23.
A resolution authorizing the lease of 8620 North County Road 25A, Piqua.
Hello, Commission. This resolution is to extend the lease that is currently being used at that location. It's known as the Russo Building. Our underground department has been there for the last 6 years. We house 10 employees there and probably 20-plus vehicles and pieces of equipment, all inside that building. It's been a good fit for us, and we're looking to renew this again for a 2-year period. Do you have any questions?
Any change in the cost of the lease agreement?
Yes, the cost will be going up from $54.11 a month to $58.15 a month, 8% increase.
Are there any questions or comments from commissioners? Are there any questions or comments from citizens? I move that we adopt resolution.
I'd like to recite the pledge. Did we do that?
Do it in the beginning of every
Beginning of the
meeting.
meeting.
It
But we
starts at
didn't
5
do it, right?
At 5 o'clock.
You
Meeting
did,
started at
though.
5. Yeah,
We did.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Anyone else have a comment regarding this resolution? Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number R-124-23.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution number R-124-23 is approved. Resolution number R-125-23.
A resolution authorizing purchase orders to Chemical Services, Inc., Greer Lime Company, Water Solutions Unlimited, Inc., Shannon Chemical Corporation, Air Products, and Chemical and Miami Products and Chemical Company for the 2024 purchase of various water treatment chemicals.
Yes, this is our annual renewal. We go out for bid every October and come back with pricing. Usually 5 or 6 companies bid on each of these 8 chemicals. Unfortunately, over the last few years, we've seen pricing go up dramatically. This has been our largest increase in pricing out of anywhere in the utilities department, has been the chemicals at the water plant. Like I said, we add 7 chemicals to the surface water that comes to the plant, and these are used for various treatment trains in the process and to produce the finished water. It is expected if we produce about the same amount of water as this year, next year, and with these costs, our overall cost will go up about $8,500 with these pricing. Some chemicals have gone down, some have gone up. And there was a spreadsheet there with which ones went up and how much. So.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from commissioners? Any comments or questions from citizens?
Dana Park. Are you using more chemicals now?
No, pretty proportional to how much water we have produced over the years. We're producing less water now than we did a couple years ago, so we use less chemicals. But it's
Okay,
pretty
I
much the
just
same amount per million gallons we're using pretty consistently.
I didn't know if that was trying to correct any problems with the lithium burns?
Not at
or-
all, ma'am.
No?
Nope.
Okay, just checking.
Thank you.
Greg Neves, 1012 West Green Street. Do you research that, or just go ahead with that company that you've been getting service from all these years?
Research the company or the chemicals or what?
Yeah, go out and see if there's any cheaper chemicals.
That's what this is. This is a bid program. We go out for bid in October, and the 5 or 6 companies in the area submit their bids on each chemical, and then we choose the best price.
Tammy Neves, 9312 Fessler Buxton Road, Piqua. Up until the end of 2022, I worked at a spa in Piqua, and I'd like to know more about the chemicals that's put in the water, because last year, every time that I was at the spa and I had to fill the tub of water that I used for the treatments that I did, before the tub was even half full, my eyes burned, my nose burned, and now I have eye problems consistently. And I'm just curious as to what chemicals are in the water. It smelled like chlorine, and how much and why it is so strong that I couldn't even stand to fill a pan of water, a dish pan of water.
You can come next Wednesday and we can give you a lot more information. I will tell you that the chlorine, we are required to add chlorine for disinfection to make sure that total coliforms and E. coli do not grow while the water is being transported to the homes and businesses. So that's why chlorine is added. It's a liquid, it's like a triple strength bleach, I would call it. And it's added right at the end of the process, so it keeps chlorine in the system throughout the entire system, the towers, the tanks. So some people are more sensitive to chlorine than others. I know from dealing with it for years, I can smell it and tell you if there's chlorine in the water or not usually.
So at the end of last year you were dumping extra?
No, nothing has changed. We are meeting the requirements from EPA over the 7 years of that plant. It usually leaves, the chlorine leaves about 1.5 parts per million. And by the time it's out in the system, it's degrading the whole time. We are required to keep over 0.2 parts per million of free chlorine in our system. If we do not do that, then we have to do extra sampling and we could get a violation.
So I can get like paperwork that
I could tell you all the chemicals and give you a list of them all, yes, that we use. Some are in liquid form, some are in a solid form that we mix with water and we apply. So I will tell you this, we try to use as little chemicals as possible because of this cost. So we want to get our treatment done, get our water to settle, to be clean, to meet EPA's qualifications, and do that with the least amount of chemicals. That's one of our goals.
Okay, I will see you next week.
Jeff Grimes, 1341 Maplewood Drive. Does the EPA require you to test for lithium?
No, we are not required by EPA to test for lithium right now. In in 2025, there is a new program coming out which lithium will be added along with PFAS, better known as forever chemicals. That will begin being sampling statewide in 2025.
Don't you think that we could probably speed that up a little bit around here? Maybe that'd be a good idea?
I'm not sure that is regarding our bidding process, that question.
Okay, so the city put out a statement, and this has to do with the wastewater. Currently, we are reviewing the results of tests conducted on wastewater collected at the site during ESRG
Sir, open
operation.
forum is over. If you have a question about this ordinance, you may ask it, but otherwise we ask you to sit down, please.
Would you let me finish?
Are you asking a question about the lime purchase?
No, I'm asking a question about the wastewater.
This is not about wastewater. This is actually about water treatment. There is a
Water
difference.
treatment and wastewater aren't the same thing.
Sir,
No, they're not.
they are not.
This is for the chemicals that we use at the water treatment plant on State Route 66 to treat the water, to have it ready to go out to the citizens.
I'm going to ask a question whether you like it or not.
Sir, you may sit down. You're disorderly now.
Will
We ask you
the-
to sit down.
Mr. Grimes, you need to
Sit
sit
down.
down, please. It's a lawful order you're requesting. Thank you.
Mr. Starrett, please do not approach the commission. Please do not approach the commission.
Director's title. He does not run the meeting.
Mr. Starrett, please sit down.
Are there any more questions on the chemical bidding?
I would move the approval of resolution R-125-23.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution number R-125-23 is approved. Resolution number R-126-23.
A resolution authorizing a rental advisory board.
Well, I'm supposed to present this, but in light of people not wanting it at this time, we'll put it on hold. The Rental Advisory Board was going to be made to help citizens before they went to the BZA in a lot of different ways. It was going to be comprised of citizens, not staff members, not anybody, just citizens who want to help. But if citizens don't want that, then we won't do that. So we'll put it on hold. So
Withdraw it from the agenda.
motion to, I'll make a motion to withdraw it from the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? This resolution has been withdrawn.
Is it for this resolution? I'm assuming it was. I would think we can still have public comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Come on, Debbie.
Debbie Stein, 1810 Carroll Drive. So if it's suspended, does that mean you'll move ahead with rental inspections, but there won't be an oversight board if someone has questions?
It's just the BZA, that's the oversight board.
That's,
I mean, I wanted to create a board so that people could come before they went to the BZA, you know, and maybe we could help and go out and fix their house, whatever it took before. But people don't want it, so.
okay.
No, it was always the proposal. I said that in the beginning.
So will you revisit it again at the first of the year, they
Huh?
say?
That's what we did. We just
Perhaps.
withdrew it. We can bring it back up in the new year,
Oh, okay.
okay?
I don't think it's a done issue because I think
It's not
there's
a
a
done
lot of,
issue,
I
but,
think
I mean,
there's a
there's an
lot of
actual
energy
resolution.
around this.
Okay.
So-
I would recommend that people go out and read the resolution as it's proposed, and then when we come back with the new commission, people tell me what you think. It was my idea to have this so that it would help the citizens have a voice, you know, and, you know, I'm all about trying to help the citizens, but I'm also willing to do what people here have voiced that they didn't want, so we'll withdraw it for now and bring it back later. How's that?
That sounds good.
The resolution,
Wait a minute.
Will everybody get to go through and apply through Form Stack if they want to serve?
Sure, if they want to serve on that,
So
sure,
it's just open that you could?
Sure.
Okay.
sure. We want, landlords can be
Oh,
on
sure.
it,
Yeah.
renters, whoever
Okay.
wants to be on it.
Okay.
I mean, homeowners, I mean, a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I want people to have a voice. That's
I
why we're
agree.
doing that.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
why we're
you.
doing this.
And I will-
That's why I proposed it, but
and I will say, I will leave a copy of it. I know it's on the website, but there's
It
a
is.
copy of it
Yeah,
right
if
here.
you wanna-
If somebody wants to grab it, so.
but thanks for asking, Debbie.
We'll move on to city manager's report.
Good evening, Commission. There has been some questions about the leaf pickup and where to find that on the internet, and so I was going to just walk through how to get there on the GIS map. We've been doing substantial work in trying to get things into GIS so that it's intuitive, it's easy to find. Still more work to be done, but however, if you get on the city website and you go to the GIS, the GeoPiqua, it does have some good dashboard information that gets updated as the metadata gets updated across the country. But if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you can go to Public Works and explore that. And again, it kind of gives you some metrics on what they're responsible for, some really great photos. But if you go to the leaf pickup viewer, sorry, take a minute to load. District, and then it shows where they're going to be upcoming in the next maintenance cycle. And so depending on where your house is at, you can zoom into this. I'm zoomed out pretty far, but essentially it'll go down to the street level, and I apologize, this is wireless connection. But if you go down to the street level, that's not going to load, I'm sorry. Basically, the mapping will be updated to correspond to where they'll be. And going back in this, and I know it's already snowed, we had snow squalls just last week, There's another inclement weather resource here that we're building, and it has to do with the plowing routes and where the trucks will be. And so this is still all in beta, but these are the snow routes if you like to take a look at it. And it kind of indicates where the snow and ice plan, we have not published that yet. It will be up on the website, but it demonstrates the snow and ice program. And with this mapping, it'll show where the particular routes are. And eventually we'll have a live feed that will show where the snow plows are. I believe it's a 10-minute increment. When the vehicle drives, it drops a cookie and leaves a trail where it's been. So as a resident, you can see, hey, when was the last time the truck went by, right? When it snows heavy, it can look like it's never been out there and it just went by an hour before, but 2 inches an hour covers it right back up. But this will all be available as we go through the winter. It's really cutting edge, and I'd like to thank our Public Works team, including Kelly Allen, our GIS manager, who has put this together. And this is the very first of the GIS mapping and kind of intuitive way of getting the information. And as we go through, she's been working with utilities to get things updated with them. So we'll have a lot more programmatic things on here, so as a resident, you can get on and see what activities are being done. That was the end of my report.
Thank you. Thank you.
Paul, would the GIS mapping also, is that going to help us with the trash carts that are sitting on the streets?
Yes, sir. Eventually, all of our operations will be in there, so you'll be able to see whether it's refuse pickup, snow and ice, leaves, the CIP program. So as we build that out, year over year, our CIP will become more visible. You can go back in time to say, hey, 4 years ago, what projects did we have on here? What was complete? What was not completed and put in the parking lot? So it really, we're trying to get, it's very difficult to take all the information the city has and put it in one place to make it easy to get to. And then eventually when we hire a public information officer, that person will be the voice of the city that actually gets the knowledge management to where it needs to be. But currently, we're just updating from just 3 years ago when I got here, the very old website. It was very clunky and hard to navigate. Now we have a new website, we have some new tools, but there's going to be a lot of, I think, a lot of energy put towards getting the documents in a repository.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Commissioners' comments? Vice Mayor Lee?
No comment.
Okay. Commissioner Vetter?
Thank you. I have a couple things. Number one, we have a new property maintenance case report out. It came out this week, and we're up to heading for 2,000 complaints about properties. The vast majority have been resolved. About 80% are being resolved pretty routinely. And of course, in the non-growing season, grass is not as big an issue as it has been over the summer. But it's an interesting report, and I assume it'll be on the website. So,
yes, it'll be posted.
yeah. Secondly, the most recent Energy Board, Electric Energy Board meeting was held last week, and I made some notes. I was not able to be there personally, but it's been a pretty good year for the electric system. When I spoke with Ed Krieger, the director of the department, the electric utility rates in the city of Piqua are someplace between 16 and 25% less than ES. So if you live in the city of Piqua, you're getting a break on electric. So anybody who wants to complain about utility bills, I would say, let's focus a little bit. We're not talking about stormwater because that's very reasonable. I talked with Kevin about stormwater. And we're not talking about electric. We're talking about water and sewer. And those are the places where we know we have some high costs, and that's there. But I think it's fair to look at where we are with all of the utility departments, and that's why we have oversight being delivered by Citizens Oversight Advisory Committee. So that's an important place to keep your finger on and watch that. Next, I want to say that we had an important meeting with several city staff in reference to the Hans Pavilion. And our next step will be to see if we can schedule a fact-finding discussion with citizens about the pavilion. And we've made a number of assumptions, about the pavilion. It's not going to be a quick and easy plan, but I think with sufficient energy and finding grants and other kinds of things, we can do this together. So it's a common project, and I think we have some things to discuss and hopefully get some citizen input on that. I'm happy to report that our cat and neuter spaying program is continuing to work, and we're doing a pretty good job with that. And so I think it will take a while, but again, next year's budget hopefully will include money for similar and maybe some expansion of some of those activities. So those are things I think that are happening and are positive. So thank you. End of my comment.
Thank you. All right. Commissioner Hines.
Thank you, Mayor Pearson. Just another welcome to Tom. It's wonderful to have somebody else up here and on my right, so it's wonderful to have you. And thank you again for your, just all that you've been doing before even coming on the commission. We appreciate that. Also, thank you to Rhett, and like we told him, continue to apply for boards and show more interest in our city, and that will help along the way too. A birdie told me somebody had a birthday coming up, so happy birthday to our city manager who has a birthday, I believe, tomorrow. So just know that our well wishes are with you for that. And also, thank you, Melinda, for bringing up the holiday horse parade. It is so hard to believe that that is happening, that we are moving into our holiday. As I was walking in tonight, I looked out and our holiday banners are up. And that's because the holiday horse parade is happening. And so that is the beginning of our holiday season. And just there's so many things happening in the city of Piqua. So I encourage people to get out and to enjoy all that there is. And that's all I have.
Mr. Homan.
Hello, Piqua. I am Tom Homan. I've been a commissioner for about 2.5 hours now. I know a lot of you out there. I know some of you guys know me. Hopefully, as my position has changed, my relationship with the city stays the same. Feel free to communicate to me as you guys have been. And I do. I live very close to where the battery burning was. I live real close to Forest Hill Cemetery. I'm also an avid cyclist. I have been cycling on the Piqua Bike Trail for 9 years now. I've broken 3 bikes, gone through 3 bikes on that trail. So you can be sure I am very curious as to what's going on over there, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of that. I do encourage everybody to come out to the event on Wednesday. Where was that again? At 5 p.m. at
Fort Piqua Plaza.
Fort Piqua Plaza.
Grant room, 4th floor.
In the grant room, 4th floor. I will definitely be there asking questions. I think some of the technical questions that you guys have are excellent questions. I think that some of the people that will be there that night will be the correct people to answer that. They'll be the experts to answer that. Other than that, I'm excited to take on my new position to finish out Chris Grissom's term and represent Ward 4. And thank you, guys.
Thank you. Again, congratulations to Chad Kennedy and your years and years of dedication. We appreciate your service, and thank you very much. November 8th, which is tomorrow, is an open meeting for citizens that are interested in the low dam removal. My question is, the meeting is here?
Correct. It'll be in the chambers tomorrow evening.
Okay, at 5:30 tomorrow night to talk about the low dam removal and the design. I know there are a lot of questions about all of that, so I hope y'all show up to ask questions. Again, if you want answers to your questions, I suggest you go to the November 15th gathering at the plaza in the grant room from 5 to 7. Okay. And then, excuse me, Saturday night is the horse parade, but at 6:30 it's the lighting of all the lights in Main Street and in the center there at Market Street. All the trees have been replace downtown Main Street, and in the Market Square, the trees have full of lights, so I'd suggest you come down a little early at 6:30 before the parade starts, so you can see the lighting. Thank you.
And we have the Trail Bridge cutting is coming up Thursday the 9th.
Right.
Want me to say that?
Sure.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that we have a ribbon cutting for the new trail bridge that crosses the Great Miami River south of the old power plant. So that will be happening this coming Thursday, the 9th, 4 o'clock down at the bridge. So for those of you who have been watching that project and wondering when it's going to open, it's going to officially open Thursday, the 9th, 4 o'clock.
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Seconds?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Have a good meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you sure?